This is Blockade Blitz, a Ben 10 flash game that was on CartoonNetwork.com. I'll start with the story mode, not that the story is actually significant. Yeah, he just breaks out. He can do that. 10-year-old Ben Tennyson can break out of any advanced alien prison at will. Hence the name of the widely popular and influential 1976 Atari arcade game, Breakout, which is based on this game, I think. Breakout clones are quite common in the library of Flash games. It's one of the classic, recognizable archetypes of video game design. It's right up there with Pong. And Breakout-style games are pretty easy to make. In the most basic sense, it's just a ball bouncing back and forth on a paddle and breaking bricks. And the developers can customize the game's assets to fit just about any setting. Here, it's just a green ball and generic metallic rectangles. And it works. So yeah, there are a lot of Breakout clones in existence, but in my opinion, most of them are pretty basic and unimpressive. Because everyone's played Breakout. Pretty much everyone. The gameplay is so simple, it can get boring pretty quickly, and just changing the sprites or whatever doesn't make it a whole new experience. And most Breakout-inspired Flash games are exactly that. They're just the standard Breakout gameplay, with some minor surface-level details to differentiate, like a cartoon character or something. I like this game because it's a lot more unique and complex than some others that have been made. The basic gameplay mechanics are obviously there, but this game introduces a lot of interesting mechanics that aren't there in other similar games. Blockade Blitz is its own game. It's not a direct copy of any pre-existing archetype. Like, this is fun. How I can acquire different alien powers and use them to break the bricks more directly. Man, these power-ups do not last very long, though. It makes sense to put a quick time limit on the shooting powers, otherwise I'd be able to blast away most of the blocks in a level with a single power-up. But I wish that the ball power-ups lasted a bit longer, because I can't control nearly as well for how they bounce around. Ah, what is happening? Loud noises! Imagine if it got stuck up there. I was wondering if I could influence the direction in which it moves by where I position Ben, but it seems to be pretty much random at that point. Yes, Cannonbolt is best alien, as always. Come on, get in there! Screw it, I'll just use the Omnitrix. This is taking too long. Die! Heat Blast, Wild Vine, and Stinkfly seem to have exactly the same power, with one small, weird difference. Heat Blast and Wild Vine can go anywhere on the horizontal axis and shoot any row of bricks and hit them if there's no obstacle in the way. Stinkfly is unable to shoot the extreme edges of the game area. He stops short for some reason, so if a brick is all of the way to the left or the right, Stinkfly can't shoot it. It took me a while to even realize what Ripjaw's power is. His blue balls can consistently destroy a lighter gray block in a single hit, and they can also destroy the smaller dark ones. The dark ones seem to take 3 hits from a normal ball. I'm not sure what to make of the lighter blocks. They usually take 2 hits, but I've often seen them destroyed by a single hit, even from a normal green ball. Maybe the amount of damage that they take is somewhat random? I'm not sure. Oh crap, boss fight time. I'm just switching aliens like mad. I'm shooting all over the place at first, but as soon as I switch to accelerate, I have no choice other than to wait around for the ball to slowly hit Vilgax. Come on! I thought that you were supposed to be the fast one. It looks like my shots only phase him, and I need the balls to actually deal damage. Oh, he just kneels down waiting for me to attack? That's unlike him. Here's an interesting fact. I think that it's interesting anyway. This game is the first game that I remember playing in which the string 1-up is used to represent an extra life. See, I didn't really know what 1-up meant when I was a little kid, and I misread the number 1 as a T. So I thought, what the heck kind of word is tup? How is that supposed to mean that I got an extra life? Of course, I was right to be confused. Etymologically, the term 1-up doesn't say anything about extra lives. It was first used in multiplayer pinball cabinet. The character's 1-up would light up when it was the first player's turn to play. On player 2's turn, it would say 2-up. Somehow, at some time, someone redefined 1-up to mean an extra life, and that's how the term has seen use in many games, including Super Mario Bros. Cannon Bolt's balls just rip through all types of breakable blocks. It's glorious. I end up holding on to the Omnitrix pieces a lot throughout this playthrough, and not using them for multiple levels in a row. It just doesn't feel rewarding to use the Omnitrix to clear a whole screen. It feels like I'm skipping a level at the cost of being underprepared for the next level. How it works, usually, is that it destroys every brick on screen, and that causes me to advance immediately to the next level. Then I don't have any time to collect the more Omnitrix pieces and extra lives that fall down from the broken blocks. So if I do use the Omnitrix to clear one level, that usually means that I won't have any pieces for the next level. And I don't always know what the next level will be, and whether or not it's a tedious level that I would want to skip easily. When I do end up using the Omnitrix, it's usually when I'm at the end of a tedious level, and I just want to be over with it, and not wait for the balls to break a few bricks in an area that's difficult to access. And using it just to break 1 or 2 bricks can feel wasteful. If I make it to the end of a level, I usually try to finish it, rather than skipping past it and cutting the time that I had spent. On some levels, it's possible to pull off what I just did. Use the Omnitrix to destroy every block on screen, but delay the advancement to the next level for long enough that I can catch some of the falling power-ups and partially restore the Omnitrix. Those big red robot enemies are durable. Sometimes one can survive a hit from the Omnitrix, meaning that I still have to defeat it before advancing. That strategy doesn't always work, though, and there is an associated risk. Often, the robot is defeated by a single use of the Omnitrix. Then the level ends right there, and I can't pick up the power-ups. It doesn't seem to be predictable whether or not the Omnitrix will destroy a robot in one hit. To have a high success rate, it's better to save that strategy for levels that have multiple strong enemies. I got lucky. I pulled it off on my first try, on a level with only one red robot. Wow, I hit the 3 balls right as they split apart, so they all went off at exactly the same angle. What is this, the computer room? Yeah, that's how computers be looking in science fiction. Glowing abstract shapes. You know that it's alien technology because it looks so completely unrecognizable to a normal human computer. Hey, why'd you take my Omnitrix away? Rude. That sound is just really funny in repetition. This guy can't catch a break. So, that's the story mode. All 15 levels. Usually, the term free play would mean that I get to choose the levels that I want to play in any order, but that's not the case here. When I click free play, I get locked into a long sequence of levels that play one after another. There are many more levels in free play than there are in the story mode. It's good to have the variety, I suppose. The order of levels is randomly generated, but I think that it always starts on this one particular level. Eventually, the levels do start to repeat, and there are several levels that look very similar to others. Unfortunately, there are no boss fights in free play mode. It's just rows upon rows of bricks to break. It would be nice to have an occasional boss fight to break up the monotony. The bosses in this game are fun. That barrier does not need to be flashing like that. Really now. A single solid color would have been sufficient. Maybe it would slowly fluctuate in brightness to give a visual effect. This quick flashing on every 3 or 4 frames doesn't look good. It just hurts my eyes after a while. Come on! Why can't I shoot there? I have 3 balls. What are the odds that none of them want to bounce into that corner? Finally! Ah, I didn't get it that time. The Omnitrix explosion destroyed both strong enemies. This level is just not right for Cannonbolt. The balls can barely get anywhere before the timer runs out. This level. There are a lot of tedious levels, but this is one of the worst. It takes so long to wait for the balls to bounce between these barriers just right to chip away at the bricks. That's a common occurrence in this game. Levels start slow because I only have a single regular ball, and I have to wait for the ball to break the bricks one by one. But in the second that I have a shooting power-up, the game speeds up immediately. I try to shoot down as many bricks as possible, as quickly as possible. I quickly use up the power-ups as they fall down to me. If there are still bricks left when my last alien power runs out, I'm back to waiting for the balls to slowly break through. The gameplay goes slow, fast, slow. It's a weird cycle. This game's physics are quite unique and interesting. In most Breakout-inspired games, the player controls a flat paddle. The way that the ball bounces is somewhat predictable, because its reflected angle is generally equal to its incident angle. It may be possible to slightly change the ball's trajectory if the paddle is moving quickly. The player doesn't have very much control of the ball in those games, but the movement is consistent. In Blockade Blitz, I don't have a flat paddle. The reflective surface is actually convex. If I hit the ball more straight on, it will go more straight and forward. If I hit it with the left side of the curved surface, the ball will go more to the left. This is a cool idea. It gives the potential for me to have more control of the ball. But in practice, the ball is still quite unpredictable. Very slight changes in my position can make the ball bounce very differently. Especially when there are these spinning metal rotors in a level. It's a cool idea to have objects that change the ball's movement in the level, but they come off as being a nuisance. They move the ball so unpredictably, and they usually lead it away from where I want it to go. Come on! Get out of the corner! It's quite uncommon for me to run out of lives in this game. There are so many one-up power-ups, and the game doesn't consistently get more difficult as I progress. It's up to random chance whether or not I'll get to an annoying, tedious level. Anyway, this is what happens if I do use up all of my lives. That riff sounds very depressed. Well, I can continue from exactly the same level. There's no real penalty for dying. I can continue to restart indefinitely and not lose my level progress. Well, now the background is a soothing blue color. Maybe I'll do better. Yeah, this level is still garbage. These amoeba enemies make a funny sound when hit. Sploosh, sploosh! I stopped the game after that level because it was getting boring. This is another playthrough. It's actually possible to shoot a brick that's behind an unbreakable barrier if I stand right directly on the edge of the barrier and shoot. So, I mentioned that this game doesn't get consistently more difficult as I progress, and it really doesn't. The levels are procedurally ordered, and almost all of them are very easy. However, if you keep playing free play, you will eventually encounter this level. I got it on level 29. Look at this garbage. Who designed this? The spinning rotors completely repel my balls, and make it almost impossible to get to the bricks on top. How the hell am I supposed to beat this? It's probably possible to get a ball through once, if the movement of the ball is perfectly in phase with the turning of the rotor, and it doesn't come close enough to hit the blade and be repelled. But the precision required for that would be ridiculous. I can't possibly control for the exact position of the ball when it bounces so unpredictably, and the controls are so limiting, and the hitboxes of these spinning rotors are way bigger than they may look. Look at the video. Most of the time when the ball is repelled, the sprite doesn't even make contact with the metallic part. It bounces off of an area of empty space right before the rotor, as if there's an invisible force field pushing it away. So I don't know who had the idea to include this level, because it's just ridiculous. I quit the game when I get up to here, if not long before then. This is a Flash game gameplay video. If you know anything about this channel, you know that a video like this isn't complete until I discuss a horrible, game-breaking glitch that I encountered. It's possible to completely soft-lock the game, so that it's impossible to make any progress without completely resetting the game. The condition to trigger this soft lock isn't very common, but of course I discovered it accidentally, knowing my luck. I wasn't recording when I first encountered this glitch, but I was able to reproduce it after many tries. I have to start with 4 Omnitrix pieces. Firstly, the ball has to go off-screen, causing the loss of a life. At the exact moment when the ball reappears in front of Ben, I press Z to activate the Omnitrix and damage the on-screen enemies and blocks. Then I wait a moment. Then I click again to launch the ball and it falls down. For a few frames, the ball appears in 2 places at once. It falls down, but it also continues to appear at its spawn position. When the one copy of the ball goes off screen, I don't lose a life. The ball continues to appear in its spawn position, but I can't launch it. I click, and nothing happens. It's completely stuck. Even pausing the game doesn't get me out of this state. Now, if I had struck the ball as it was falling, I would have been able to break the bricks and complete this level. But that wouldn't have stopped the game from being soft-locked. The ball would have been stuck in place when the next level were loaded on screen. The only way to get out of this state is to reset the game entirely. Now, the soft lock doesn't always happen when I press Z exactly as the ball is reappearing. If the Omnitrix destroys every block and enemy on screen at once, then I'm good. I don't have to click for the ball to come back into play to destroy the blocks and finish the level. The next level loads up and the ball acts normally. Of course, the factor of whether or not the Omnitrix will destroy every block is somewhat random. I can't control for that factor. I thought that I had shown off this feature during the main playthrough, but apparently I didn't, so I'll show it now. It's possible to have up to 6 balls in play at once. I start by getting the multi-ball power-up to triplicate the ball. Then I allow 1 ball to fall off screen, so that 2 balls are in play. I collect another multi-ball power-up to further increase the total number of balls to 6. This feature only works if one of the first 3 balls goes off screen. I can't multiply 3 times 3 to have a total of 9 balls at once. Apparently the developers thought that 9 would be too much, so the limit is 6. If I keep 3 balls for the whole level, the second multi-ball power-up won't appear. If I break the brick that usually contains it, it will be substituted with some other power-up, usually a Omnitrix piece. Having 6 balls on screen at once can be fun and very hectic. There's so much going on at once, so much to juggle. Yes, give me all of the aliens. I don't even care which ones, I just want the power. I can really keep this going as long as I like, if I put off collecting the Omnitrix pieces. Interesting. The balls can't go off screen once I've immobilized Vilgax. I can't lose the level. That's probably a simple fix that the developers implemented to avoid a soft lock here. Oh, I didn't even press Z that time. It activates automatically after a time, it seems. Well, thanks for watching. This is a long and interesting game.